Have you ever passed the same road every day, without knowing that someone is watching you from the shadows? Dipesh Verma never believed in ghosts. He thought those were just stories for old people and horror movies. But one normal evening in Patiala, something happened that changed his life forever. It was around 7 p.m., the weather was calm, the breeze was cool, and the sky was turning orange and purple. Dipesh had just finished praying at a nearby temple. He was riding his black bike back home, smiling, enjoying the peaceful evening. Then he got an idea. He took out his phone and called his best friend, Rubina. "Hey, the weather is amazing," he said. "Get ready, let's go for a ride." 15 minutes later, she sat behind him on the bike, and he started riding through the city. They laughed, talked about random things, and enjoyed the fresh air. As they passed a well-known garden near the Ring Hall in Patiala, something changed. There was a tree near that garden. An old, dry, scary-looking tree. People in the city said it was haunted. They talked about a ghost woman in a white dress who was often seen walking near that tree at night. But Dipesh had passed this tree many times before. Nothing strange ever happened. So he never cared. What he didn't know was, someone was watching him. A ghost. A churel lived in that tree. And she noticed something about Dipesh. His perfume. He wore a strong, sweet scent every day. Maybe it reminded the ghost of someone from her past. She didn't harm him. Not at first. She just followed him, quietly, waiting. That evening, as Dipesh and Rubina passed the tree, he suddenly said, "Do you smell something strange?" Rubina sniffed. Just your perfume, I think." Dipesh shook his head. "No, something else. Like roses and old wet soil." Rubina looked at him, confused. But they didn't stop. They went ahead, got some street food, drank hot tea, and laughed like everything was normal. But the way back was different. The streets were almost empty now. The lights on the road were dim. The breeze felt colder. The same tree was now on their way again. Suddenly, from nowhere, a woman in a white-toned sari jumped in front of the bike. Her hair was flying in the wind. Her face was pale. Her eyes were glowing red. Dipesh hit the brakes hard. But it was too late. The bike skidded. Crash. Both Dipesh and Rubina fell. She rolled to the side. He fell hard on his arm. Pain shot through his body. People ran to help. One man gave Dipesh a cold water bottle. "Here, drink this," the stranger said. Shaking, Dipesh drank the water. And in that moment, the ghost entered his body. He felt something rush into him, cold and heavy. Then everything went black. It felt like falling into a deep, dark hole. No light, no sound, no way out. After some time, he heard voices. People shouting. Someone rubbing his feet. Someone crying. He slowly opened his eyes. A crowd was around him. Rubina was sitting beside him, crying badly. "Deepu, are you okay? Say something." He stood up slowly. Everything looked blurry. But somehow, he picked up his bike. "We need to go home," he said quietly. That night, they reached home. But Dipesh was no longer alone. She was now inside him. Since the accident, something inside Dipesh had changed. He tried to tell himself it was just the injury, just the shock. But deep down, he knew the truth. He wasn't alone anymore. The next morning, he woke up with a sharp pain in his arm. It was swollen and turning purple. His mother rushed him to the doctor. After checking the X-ray, the doctor said, "It's a hairline crack. You need a plaster cast. Keep it for 30 days. Dipesh had never been seriously injured before. This was the first time he couldn't move his arm properly. He tried to laugh it off, but he was feeling weak, tired, different. And then came the nights. At night, he couldn't sleep. His legs hurt without reason. His back would burn suddenly like someone had pressed hot iron on it. He woke up feeling cold, even in the summer. He used to be very fit and strong. But now, even climbing stairs made him tired. His eyes looked dull. His energy was gone. He didn't tell anyone what he was feeling. Not even Rubina. One night, as he lay in bed, he felt someone sit beside him. He opened his eyes. No one was there. But he felt the weight. A cold hand touched his chest, then slowly moved to his neck. He froze. He couldn't scream. He couldn't move. Only his eyes could look around. His heartbeat became fast, wild, like a drum. Then, a voice whispered in his ear. A woman's voice. Soft, but angry. Why do you wear this perfume? Dipash couldn't answer. The voice faded, but the pain stayed. Every morning became harder. His body was changing. His emotions too. He started getting angry easily. He stopped meeting friends. Even his mother noticed. Why are you so quiet these days? She asked. He had no answer. Rubina messaged often, trying to cheer him up. But he kept avoiding her. Because he was scared. Scared that if she came close again, the ghost would hurt her too. Then came the worst moment. One morning, Dipash was eating breakfast. Just simple parathas and tea. Suddenly, his stomach twisted in pain. Like something was crushing him from the inside. He fell from the chair and rolled on the floor, crying in pain. His eyes filled with water. He held his stomach, shaking, breathing fast. And then he heard that voice again, inside his mind. I hate this smell. You feed me this garbage. She was inside him. Not just following anymore. She was starting to control him. That night, he stood in front of the mirror. He looked into his own eyes. But something looked wrong. His face was the same. But the eyes staring back at him didn't feel like his. Mornings used to be Dipash's favorite. A hot cup of chai, his mother's voice in the kitchen, the birds chirping outside. Simple joys. But now, mornings were becoming a nightmare. It started with strange feelings in his stomach. Every time he tried to eat something, especially breakfast, he felt uncomfortable. It was like something inside him didn't want food. One morning, his mother served him his favorite, aloo paratha with butter. He took one bite. And then, it happened. A sharp pain stabbed his stomach. He dropped the plate and fell to the floor. His hands clutched his belly. He couldn't even scream properly. Just heavy breathing and tears. The pain was not normal. It felt like someone was squeezing his stomach from the inside, like sharp fingers digging into his body. And then he heard her voice again. That same cold whisper. This food smells disgusting. I don't like your world. His body shook. His eyes watered. He wanted to vomit, but nothing came out. He lay there for 10 minutes, trying to breathe. His mother came running. What happened? Dipash? Are you okay? He forced a smile. Just gas, I think. It'll be fine. But he knew it wasn't gas. She was feeding on him. Not on food, but on his pain. The days grew darker. Dipash stopped eating breakfast completely. He lied to his mother, saying he was fasting or not hungry. He stopped wearing perfume. He stopped smiling. He stopped going out. He just existed. His eyes had dark circles. His face looked pale. His voice became quiet. But the ghost wasn't done yet. One evening, while scrolling Instagram in his room, something stopped him cold. A reel popped up on his feed. A boy was making a spooky video near the ring hall tree, the same tree where the accident happened. The video was shaky, but real. The boy whispered into the camera. Locals say a ghost lives on this tree. A woman in white. If you wear perfume, she follows you. If she likes it, she enters you. Then, the camera moved quickly. There was a flash of something white. A shape. A figure. Almost like a woman. It jumped in front of a passing scooter. The man fell. Just like Dipayesh did. Dipayesh dropped his phone. His heart raced. He wasn't alone. Others had seen her. Others had suffered. But what if she had chosen him now? What if she never wanted to leave? That night, he locked his room, sat on his bed, and whispered to himself. What do you want from me? No answer. Just silence. And in that silence, he felt her smiling inside his mind. Dipayesh had stopped trusting the world around him. But worse, he had stopped trusting himself. The pain, the voices, the cold touches at night, he could still pretend those were all in his head. But there's one thing that never lies. The mirror. It was a rainy night in Patiala. The thunder rumbled far away, and soft raindrops tapped against the windows like tiny fingers. Dipayesh sat alone in his room. The lights were off. Only a small table lamp flickered beside his bed. His phone lay silent. No calls. No messages. Even Rubina had stopped texting much. She felt he was ignoring her. And he was. Not because he wanted to, but because he didn't want her to see what he was becoming. He walked to the bathroom to wash his face. When he looked up at the mirror, he froze. It was him, but not fully. Yes, the face was his. Yes, the clothes were the same. But the eyes in the mirror were not his. They were darker, colder, and they was smiling. He stepped back, heart pounding. He looked again. The smile was gone. His reflection looked normal now. But he knew what he saw. He wasn't alone anymore. And now, the ghost wasn't just inside him. She was becoming him. The next few days were worse. He started forgetting things. He would wake up and find his clothes wet, as if he had gone out in the rain. But he didn't remember leaving the house. He found dirt on his shoes, mud from the ring hall garden. Sometimes he would see scratches on his arms, or hair on his pillow, long black hair. But his hair was short. One day, his mother saw him staring at the mirror, not blinking. She touched his shoulder. He didn't respond. She said his name 3 times. Then, suddenly, he turned to her and said in a voice that wasn't his, "Don't touch me. Ever." His mother stepped back, shocked. And then, he fainted. When he woke up, he had no memory of it. But something inside him had changed again. Now, the ghost was not just hiding. She was speaking through him. Later that night, he stood in front of the mirror again. He whispered, "I know you're there." "Why me?" The mirror fogged up suddenly, even though the room was not cold. And slowly, as if written by an invisible finger, 3 words appeared in the fog. "You smell familiar." Dipayesh stepped back in fear. His legs were shaking. His chest felt tight. She didn't just like his perfume anymore. She was attached to him. Obsessed. And now, she was inside his thoughts, his body, his soul. Dipayesh couldn't take it anymore. Every night was filled with fear. Every morning came with pain. And now, even the mirror was talking to him. He knew one thing for sure now. This was not just a bad dream. This ghost, this woman in white, was real. And he needed answers. He remembered the Instagram reel. The one that showed the haunted tree near Ring Hall. It had gone viral. Maybe the person who posted it knew something more. He searched through the comments and found the creator's profile. At Urban Horror Punjab. He sent a message. Bro, I saw your reel about the Ring Hall tree. Something happened to me there. Please reply. A few hours later, he got a voice note in reply. Bhai, you're not the first. That place, it's cursed. Everyone says a woman died there many years ago. But no one knows her full story. If you really want to know more, talk to the old gardener near that garden. He's been working there for 40 years. The next day, Dipayesh made his way to the garden. His hand was still in plaster, his body weak, but his heart was strong now. He needed to face it. The old gardener was sitting on a bench, feeding birds. Dipayesh walked up to him and said quietly, Uncle, I want to ask you about the tree, the one near the Ring Hall. The old man looked up slowly. His eyes were sharp and tired. He didn't speak for a while. Then he said, You've seen her, haven't you? Dipayesh nodded. The man sighed. Everyone avoids that path for a reason. But the young never listen. Her name was Meera. She was going to get married. But her groom ran away on the wedding day. Her heart broke. That night, she waited near that tree in her white bridal dress, crying. She waited till morning. People found her dead under that tree. No one knows if it was suicide or something else. But from that day, things changed. Dipayesh felt cold all over. Meera, a name to the pain, a face behind the fear. The gardener continued. Some say she still waits there, thinking her groom will return. But others believe she now rides with men who wear the same scent he once wore. Like a lost soul, she follows the smell of broken love. Now it all made sense. The perfume, the bike rides, the gentle breeze, the way she never hurt him at first. She didn't want to scare him. She wanted to feel loved again. But something had changed. Now, she was angry, possessive, controlling, and slowly dangerous. As Dipayesh left the garden, he heard a soft whisper behind him. He never came, but you did. He turned around. No one was there. Only the tree, standing silent, watching. Ever since Dipayesh heard Meera's story, something in him changed. He no longer felt like a victim. He felt like a target. The name, Meera, kept echoing in his head. It came in his dreams. It whispered from walls. It danced in the wind when no one was around. But the scariest part? She had stopped hiding. Now, she wanted to be seen. It started with small things. He would look into the mirror and see a woman standing behind him. But when he turned, there was no one. He heard anklets at night, soft jingles on the floor. Sometimes, he even found red stains near his pillow. Like sindoor. His mother began to worry. You're changing, Deepu. You don't smile anymore. Your voice, it doesn't feel like you. He didn't answer, because he didn't know who he was anymore. One morning, he found a diary page on his desk. But he had no memory of writing it. The handwriting looked like a woman's. The page read, I waited in white. I died in pain. But now, through you, I will live again. Dipayesh stared at the paper. His hands trembled. She didn't just want to stay inside him. She wanted to take over, to use his body, to walk again in this world, through his skin, his face, his name. That night, he had the most terrifying dream. He was wearing a white bridal dress. People were clapping. Music played loudly. But when he looked in the mirror, he wasn't Dipayesh. He saw a woman, Meera, smiling, crying, alive. He screamed and woke up, sweating. He rushed to the mirror. "Stop it. Get out of me," he shouted. But his reflection didn't move. It just stared back, calm, cold. Then, his own lips moved, but he didn't move them. His reflection said in a voice that was not his, "I don't want to haunt anymore. I want to live. Through you." Dipash fell back, heart racing. He was losing himself. Every day, she was becoming stronger, and he was fading piece by piece. He tried everything. Stopped wearing perfume, burned incense, played religious chants. But nothing worked, because it was no longer about smell. Now, it was about soul. She had entered too deep, and now she wanted to stay. Dipash was no longer himself. He could feel it in the way he spoke, the way he walked, the way he looked at the world. Sometimes, he would wake up and not remember what day it was. Other times, he would look in the mirror and not recognize his own face. He was breaking, and she was winning. Her voice was clearer now. Not whispers, not shadows. She talked to him in full sentences. "You've lived long enough. Now, it's my turn. You smell like him. You should feel what I felt. Give me your body. I will love it better than you ever did." But Dipash wasn't ready to give up. Not yet. Not like this. One night, around 11 p.m., he tied a cloth around his broken hand, wore his helmet, and took his bike out again. He had one destination. The haunted tree. The place where it all began. The streets were empty. The wind was cold, and the night was darker than usual. But Dipash rode on, his heart beating hard in his chest. As he reached the garden near Ring Hall, his bike slowed down on its own. The engine didn't die. It just stopped listening to him. Like it knew he had returned. The old tree stood in silence, its black branches shaking slightly in the wind. The air around it felt heavy, like someone was watching. He got off the bike and walked slowly toward the tree. Every step felt harder. His chest was tight. His head was spinning. And then, she spoke again. "Why are you here? Don't you know? You are mine now. This is not your story anymore." Suddenly, Dipash fell to the ground. His legs gave up. He screamed into the night, "Leave me alone. Let me go." But no one answered. Only silence. Then the wind picked up. And from the shadows of the tree, as she came, a woman in white, face pale, eyes glowing, hair floating in the air. But this time, she didn't jump or scream. She walked toward him slowly, gently, like a bride coming to her groom. She touched his face and softly whispered, "I don't want revenge anymore. I want a body. Yours." Dipash knew he had seconds left. He reached into his pocket and pulled out something small. A packet of sindoor, vermilion, and a diya, oil lamp, he had taken from the temple earlier. With shaking hands, he lit the diya and threw the sindoor toward the tree. The wind howled. She screamed, a scream so loud the ground shook. Her face twisted in pain. And then, everything stopped. When Dipash opened his eyes, it was morning. He was lying near the tree. Birds were chirping. His bike stood a few feet away, untouched. His hand was still in pain, but his heart felt light. For the first time in weeks, he felt alone again. And that was a good thing. He stood up, looked at the tree, and whispered, "Meera, I'm sorry for what happened to you, but I'm still alive. And you must rest now." The wind blew softly through the branches, as if someone had finally said goodbye. Weeks passed. Dipash's hand finally healed. The plaster was removed. His body grew stronger. His face looked fresh again. But something inside him would never be the same. He went back to college, met friends, laughed again, even visited the temple. Rubina came to see him one afternoon. "I'm glad you're okay," she said. "You look like your old self." Dipesh smiled. Almost. But deep down, he still carried a strange emptiness, as if someone had touched his soul and left a part of themselves behind. One evening, he was cleaning his room. He opened his old jacket and found a small bottle of that same perfume, the one he used to wear. He stared at it for a long time. Memories rushed back, of rides, laughter, pain, and her. Meera. He slowly walked to the window, opened the bottle, and let the wine carry the fragrance out into the night. At first, the air was silent. Then, he felt it. A small chill on the back of his neck, like someone had just passed behind him. He didn't turn around. He just whispered, "I hope you found peace." But as he closed the window, he noticed something on the mirror, written in a soft fog, just for a second, then gone. "I remember you." Dipesh stood still. No fear, just a quiet, uneasy calm. Because even when a ghost leaves your body, some sense never leave your soul. Thanks for listening. Subscribe now for more stories. This is Jeevan Verma, signing off.